This is my new build for the Strand Warlock, and it's freaking crazy. It's amazing. I love it. I'm probably gonna use this all season. That's just how it is. So, if you don't know, Quicksilver is amazing Strand exotic, and it does extra damage to red bars. And I'm pairing that with Swarmers, which allows me to turn my threadlings into like locusts essentially, because they just populate. They go to the next combatant, they do damage, they continuously swarm, and they spread, and they create more tangles, and the tangles are able to be turned into more threadlings, and threadlings create more tangles, and it works amazingly. Now you can also use any weapon with hatchling to make this work. But I'm using Weaver's Call, allows me to be able to cast my rift, and it lets me shoot out all my perched threadlings. And I'm using Mind Spun Manipulation, which allows me to consume my grenade to perch 5 threadlings at once. So all I have to do from there is just simply do damage with my primary weapon, and it goes crazy. So in order to put all this together, I'm using Threadling Grenade. Because Threadling Grenade is just the best one for this build, and I'm using Thread of Evolution. Thread of Evolution increases the damage of my grenades and anything else that has to do with threadlings. It allows them to travel farther, faster, do extra damage, so that's amazing. And it just clears bad guys whenever you need them to. Now, when you're using the build, you only have one option for Needle Storm, so it is what it is. But it is amazing. And it really was what made the Brood Weaver Warlock actually work, because all these, I guess you'll say, shots go off and they do damage, and they hurt more of my combatants and creates more threadlings. And I'm using Thread of Rebirth with my Strand weapon, so I just shoot crowds, shoot enemies. Every time I get a Strand kill, they turn around and I can have a chance of getting another threadling, and it just continues the process and increases damage. Then I'm also using Thread of Warding, and I'm using the Thread of Generation. It's actually a great, it's always up and it's always being active as long as I'm doing damage. So everything is just continuously up, has like the highest uptime possible. I wanted to make sure that no matter what was going on, I was able to make use of everything. And I feel like that's the best way to really get the maximum return on any exotic combo. And I feel like this is like one of the best exotic combos you can have in the game. Like, it's hard to die because I can do so much damage so quickly, especially the red bars, and even yellow bars, especially with that grenade launcher ability on top of that. So anybody that's tanky, I can just shoot them. Even with their shields up, I can break through the shields, I can stun them. And then with all these threadlings, they're continuously going out and doing more damage and increasing the damage that my opponent is taking by creating more of the little locusts that are running around and doing damage to them as well. It makes everything in this build becomes lethal, which makes it so much better than most of the other builds I've seen before, because I'm not used to being able to use my melee, and that makes whatever they start getting attacked by the little locusts becomes unravel. And when those things are destroyed, it allows me to create a tangle, and then with Swarmers, I'm able to turn every tangle into 2 new threadlings that go off and attack, and they all do extra damage. So this kit's just continuously building on itself, and it becomes this new swarm threadling god build, where it's like you always have some around you working for you doing damage, and it's never far away in any situation. So it really works out great. And plus, right now with the artifact mods, they have an ability to where I can get unravel rounds to my weapons just by picking up orbs of power. So that's great. So that just makes this even more potent than what it normally would be. But even still, this is season proof with this build, because as long as you have everything unlocked, you can put this build on no matter what and it'll still work. Because you don't actually need unraveling rounds, because Swarmers, everything that the threadlings do damage to already become unraveled anyway. So you just need to do a little bit of damage to them, and as long as they're creating more threadlings, they'll do the damage for you. So you really have a little army fighting on your side. I mean, I almost feel like Ant-Man a little bit, but Ant-Man's kind of lame. Though I would say Shino from Naruto, but I mean, I don't know how many of y'all Naruto fans even get the reference. But overall, the idea is I can create an army, and the army continuously repopulates, and creates more threadlings that do damage, and I can just do this all day. And I'm doing it with this build specifically that allows me to get the maximum amount of threadlings at the same time. So I can do massive amounts of damage with these combos that just lets me launch so many threadlings at once. And not to mention the fact that the tangles do damage. So I mean, everything is just working together, and I have a little something special for you guys, so you gotta have to wait to the end. But I have a little special something, because this one took a while. I know it did. I don't expect my videos to take this long, but I had to learn Strand because I never was somebody who actually used it. And until I created this build, started putting together this video for you guys, and I realized I was in love. This is the greatest video I probably will ever put together for you guys, because I love this build. I don't want to put this down. Like, literally, it would take some seasonal changes for me to put this down, or them to like really blow things up with this new release that's coming up pretty soon. But without that, I mean, goodness gracious, look at this. It's just like on easy mode. They're jumping them. And you don't even need to use anything else. Like, I feel too powerful, to be perfectly honest. So here's the mods that make this all work, and this is the part that took the longest. To put together Bomber, Reaper, and Powerful Attraction, so that way I can scoop up all my orbs that are nearby. Now I'm using Recuperation, so that way I get a boost to my healing just for using it. Now Elemental Charge allows me to take my tangles, and every now and then when I throw them, I'm going to gain another charge of light. I'm using stacks on stacks to be able to get more charge of light. So I double up, and I'm using charge up as well, so that way I'm able to get up to a total of 4 charge with light. Now I can put all those charge of light into grenade kickstart, so that way I can get my grenade back as fast as possible. And then I'm using heavy-handed, because since I'm consuming my grenade and not actually throwing and using my grenade, I'm not able to actually make that work. And so I'm using heavy-handed, dynamo, and harmonic siphon. Now here's the little bonus I wanted to show you guys. Now if you didn't know about this, if you cannot get to, like, if you're like a 99, like I'm right here, you can actually use this little glitch. I don't know if it's a glitch or intentional, but if you put on this, I guess you say cover or whatever you want to call it, put on this skin on it, and look how it works. It boosts you up 1 point in resilience. I don't know why, but that was awesome. Game for multiple years, didn't know that, and now I know, and now you do too. Thank you for staying to the end. That's your boy, Black Mike.